the edge. Feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
And hello viewers, and welcome to round one of the MSR Formula USA 2023 League here at the Rock what's it called? I've messed it up already. Yeah, here at Cleveland GP. Sadly not joined today by WM Martin, however joined by Vindict, one of our previous contenders in the last league. Hey.
Hello, welcome everyone to this stream. Thanks for introducing me, Nismo. I'm Vindict. I'm joining to commentate for the first time on MSR race, and it is a very good one today. The first round of the season officially. Last time around was, of course, a pre-season test on an oval, and today we are back on a road course, specifically on Cleveland.
Yeah, quite an interesting race. I got to say, quite an interesting race to start the season off. Quite a wide track, and maybe not everyone knowing it as well as some other courses on the calendar, like Laguna Seca or Road America. But definitely an interesting one, and quite a quick track. I saw times of about 58 seconds for less than a minute to go around the track, which is extremely quick for a road course.
Absolutely, but if you look at the onboard right now, it's a very slow turn one, but that's honestly already the slowest this track is gonna get. The rest of it is very, very fast, and it's all about having the guts to send it through the corners. You can see a very wide entry into what is a relatively tight chicane, into a wide exit again, and then you do it all again for a couple of turns after that. This would be, I believe it's turn 4 into 5. I don't know how you count, to be honest, because one of them is a very slight bit of turn, but this is a scary one. You want to carry as much speed through here as you can. Go through here, try to avoid the wall. With it, just about manages that, and then you're already going to the finish, although there's still one chicane in between, and people send it here. I've seen it in practice. People absolutely send it, and you can overdo it. You can see the grass gets very, very close there. And that is a lap already of Cleveland. It's very flat, but exhilarating, and feels good to get right.
Yeah, Gilles Homan as well, taking provisional pole with a 58.1, pretty much 0.2 to be honest. He's looking to be one of the quickest drivers of the league so far. I know I was watching him in pre-season. He was definitely quite far up there, but will he be able to bring it tonight to an actual points-paying race?
Well, it's going to be interesting. Early in qualifying, of course, Gilles being the first, but you may notice that half the field is still in the pits, and that's on purpose. We have split the qualifying for the road races this season. Gilles being one of the first drivers to go out, but the next group has people like Keza, Ultimate Keza, like Kaku, who won the last race, and Tomba Hawks is also in the next group. So this provisional pole position is anything but safe, and Gilles will be highly motivated to improve that time.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't know how much you need to push during this first, I think, 10 minutes. And you just need to try and just find every single gap, because as we see, a car spun on the main part of the track. But yeah, an extremely difficult course. I mean, as much as it does look quite easy to navigate left and right, as simple as that 90-degree corners, I know from experience from a bit of driving, when of course doing things like the trailer and stuff, that this course is anything but that. It's not just left and right, it has quite bad bumps in the road, and they can just throw your car completely offline. And if someone's next to you and that happens, it could quite easily cause an incident.
Yeah, it's a lot about track knowledge, because the bumps are essentially, if you look from the cockpit here, essentially invisible. You can't see any bumps, you can't see any of the little traps that this track has. Even the apexes are very, very hard to spot. If you've got a good feel for it, and set a good time, and if you can do it consistently in a race, you've got a good shot at winning this one. And it's really interesting to see how that will turn out. Right now, Gilles looking dominant of the first group, but that fight is still 5 minutes to go. Nothing is set in stone quite yet.
there's definitely going to be some a little less, well, maybe we might see a bit more strategy in today's race though, since tyre degradation on this track compared to our preseason in Watkins Glen is quite low, I've been told by some drivers. So whether we're going to be seeing people use primaries or maybe try to do a one stop, or whether we'll see people maybe opting to go for a 2-stop on the softs, it's all to be seen in the race strategy today.
What I've heard from people is that this track is going to be mostly fuel limited. I believe even the oval race, but Watkins Glen is very harsh on tyres, so of course that will be tyre limited. But even the oval race was tyre limited, so this will be the first fuel limited race we got. And I've also heard people that it is actually quite close between a 1 and a 2-stop. Generally, if people push a lot, they think they will be doing a 2-stop. But a 1-stop, could be possible, as we see Svi make a big mistake there. Slides the car out and has to reset. 12 package actually closed in a lot to Gillish Homan. And Vilside also, I was looking at him earlier, he wasn't on the best of laps, but he has since improved. Only 3/10 behind Gillish now.
Yeah, Wild Package, I believe, was the quickest in practice. I think getting very close to his personal best, but I think Gillis has just managed to find that time out of nowhere and just stayed in that 3/10 ahead of Wild Package for basically the entire session so far. Him go straight into the wall.
A very unfortunate mistake there, but it's one of those tracks where it looks like, you've got so much road, like so hard to make a mistake. And I mean, if you're driving carefully, like you're respecting all the traffic laws, then yeah, it's very easy to stay on track. But these people are pushing. You can see how close they get to the grass and how often they actually hit the wall, and that will be a risk in their race. Actually, qualifying is not so bad, because if you do crash, then you can still reset to the pit lane and try again. If you do during the race, you will build up damage, and that will have to be repaired. That is going to result in a big time loss. So it's all about weighing the risk for the benefit in the race.
Exactly. I mean, you can be quick, as you said, you can be quick in qualifying by having many attempts. You can easily take pole, but whether you can just keep your tyres in check, whether you can keep the car solidly in front of the rest of the drivers and still able to push that amount you were in qualifying, stay ahead, it's all up to that, as you said, risk of the drivers, since this is of course quite a new track, and well, I say new track, unused track, like
Absolutely.
Something that I'm interested though for tonight is turn 1. You can just see how wide the track is. This is the perfect camera for it. But you can just see how wide it is, and like even when going into the corner, most drivers cannot see the apex of the corner when turning in. So we could see potentially, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can fit 8 cars down there, which isn't advised, but whether we're going to be seeing some people go with some cheeky dive bombs on lap 1, I do genuinely wonder. Of course, it is going to be a rolling start, so maybe might split the grid a bit better, but we're definitely going to be seeing some dive bombs into turn 1.
Yeah, the turn 1 will be a big issue. I know that in real race, and apparently it was so much of an issue, they had to put cones there to like reduce the amount of crashes, and it didn't work, as Wild Package actually sets the fastest lap time, but only 0.08 of a second. And Gillish will be trying to improve that right now, but I feel like this lap isn't going to be it. We'll have to go for another time, but that will be his last chance, because we are nearing the second group in qualifying. But yeah, they put some cones there to avoid people going too far to the inside of turn 1. And actually all that happened is people just went to the inside of turn 1 anyway, just a little bit later, and there was a big crash regardless. So hopefully we can show more professionality today, but it's a very high chance for a crash at the start, and as a result, perhaps a safety car early on.
Exactly. It's, yeah, as we said earlier, it's very much...
Gillish not going to be able to beat Wild Package, who does improve, trying to solidify his provisional pole position as the second group is starting to roll out, and we're going to have to put our eyes onto people like Tomahawks, on people like Ultimate Kaiser, who have shown their prowess in the MSR leagues before, and will be fighting for that pole position.
Finally enough, Wild Package actually improved even more on his final lap, getting in the 57s, so improving by about 1.5, which is absolutely insane. 0.2 ahead of Gillish just on his last lap alone, so maybe that ever so slight push on that last lap will give him the edge to stay ahead of people like Tomahawks, Ultimate K's and Cuckoo. So we will hopefully see a close battle in qualifying between the top group essentially, between Wild Package, Gillis and Xevious, since so far the top 6 all within a second of each other, which is already just insanely close.
Yeah, that's only half the grid as well, and all of these people driving right now will be merging into that, so we're gonna have a very competitive field, and yeah, hopefully that will result in a competitive race as well, as Tomba, I feel like, a little bit gentle right now for his banker lap, but I think we'll see him still set a decently good time. He does know how to drive these cars very, very fast indeed, and yeah, we're gonna have to see by the end of qualifying what he pulls out, if it's gonna be enough.
Yeah, I must admit, it's always, in my opinion, it's always good to just go 80% around the track first. In a way, try get a feel back for it. Try once again, because he hasn't been out for about 10 minutes now on track, and if he wants to get a solid time, he could end up invalidating every single one of his laps, and if he just goes that 80%, it at least confirms that he's going to take pole on his back.
Is immediately on pole position. Tomahawks immediately shattering all hopes and dreams of Wild Package, who will not be able to improve, demoted to second at best. And Key is actually not even gonna get close for now. Has to settle for P7, but still a couple of drivers ahead of him that will not be able to improve if he does end up beating them. So yeah, that's the first shots fired, and Tomahawks immediately going for a pole position.
I am genuinely so curious. I thought he was taking it easy. No, he was, well, he could have been taking it easy if he wants to still improve by quite a bit of time, and that's Ultimate Case off into the grass.
Very unfortunate, but actually looking at people hitting the walls and going on the grass, maybe like seemingly taking it easy, keeping the car on the black stuff the whole time, was maybe exactly the way to go, and Tomahawks played that to perfection there. Maybe be able to improve, but at 57.8, there's not so many people, I think, driving right now that will be able to improve on that easily, if at all. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on some of the main contenders, Kaiser obviously being one of them. We've got Cuckoo, who won last race. Will personally, of course, say that it was a bit of luck. Oval races are always a bit chaotic, and anyone can win, but that, you know, she was there, other people weren't, she played it perfectly, other people didn't. Still says something about your skill level. On a road course it might be harder, but I don't think her current position of 15th is representative, so she's going to improve.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully they do improve, and on top of that we have two oval races coming in the future, one of them being a feature race, which will give more points, so whether that can benefit them as well, hopefully that'll be to be further seen in the coming races. Ultimate K is still in that P7 position. He's got to try and find any sort of way to improve if he has any chance in fighting that top pack.
Someone else I'm expecting a little bit more forwards is Kuni right here, who currently 18th, 3.3 seconds off the pace. I think that will be a big improvement for him, if not this lap, the next one. Still got 5 minutes to do it, so there's plenty of time to get a decent run in, but if you wait too long you will run out of time eventually, so he will be giving it his best shot right now.
staying on board. So yeah, Kunisek right now P18, pretty much, well, very far towards the back of the grid. Hopefully this qualifying lap he can do a bit better. Something I have noticed is some drivers at certain points like to just ever so slightly take a bit of grass, and whether that cut helps or hinders them, I don't know if it'll decrease grip. I definitely know having a tire on the grass isn't safe. Touching grass, I know in this game and in real life, is definitely deadly for you. But oh, Kunisek extremely close to the wall, even touching it a bit. Last time I saw an F1 sort of looking car touch a wall, it was George Russell going straight into the Singapore one. But hopefully Kunisek, as soon as Kunisek can improve his time. He's P16, but now on the timing chart on the left, but still not that good of a time. He's got to find any sort of space. Ultimate Case as well has improved. He's now in P5, 6/10 behind the leader. So whether he can at all get his tyres warmed up even further, or can push the limits of the track and is able to find those extra temps, it's all to be seen in these last 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And well, the track normally does get a little bit faster, so the second part will have a little bit of an advantage over the first pack. But yeah, still Keza up in P5, very impressive. Xevious, Gilish, one package, and Tomba still ahead of him. Will be trying to dethrone a couple of those. Tomba might be too far away with a 57.7, which is an incredible time. Might be just a little bit too much, but I'm already happy to be surprised. Always happy to be surprised. So let's see if Keza can do that right now. But maybe overcommitted there.
Yeah,
P5 now, and it stays P. Oh no, it's P3.
Up to P. I honestly thought that could have been a potential cut. Going through that chicane. I mean, I saw how much dust and dirt he lifted up going over his car, but I think he just sent it to the point where he was able to keep it within track limits and was able to set that lap time of P3. So yeah, luckily not getting any sort of lost my words now, but yeah, Jonathan back in P15, also known as Mo as well in the chat for anyone listening in Discord. They're in P15 right now. I remember them doing pretty good on the oval as well after, but sadly getting involved in an incident. So hopefully they can do redemption. Oh, that was a lot of dirt, I'll say that.
Yeah, I know that Jonathan had a bit of a lag issue last time, actually. On a speedway, I think it's a lot worse than on a road course, so hopefully today it's alright. See him jumping around a little bit, but seems to be getting comfortable with this track quite alright. There's someone else, actually, I do want to mention, Daylau, who I think it was like 1.5 hours ago, was panicking because he had no idea where the track went and struggled a lot to get the car going. He didn't even realize it had 6 gears, so wasn't so prepared, but in that time has prepared well enough to be P14 right now. I think getting better and better every lap.
I mean, I have to genuinely hand it to Daylau. It was very much a last minute call out when it came to the substitution, since sadly 2 of our drivers couldn't make it, and he, of course, being in the sub driver, was told pretty much, I think today maybe, that he was going to be driving. So thankfully he was able to fill that position, and yes, he seems to be getting to grips with the track, because Jedlin maybe not fully understanding the track as much, though he is in P12. Yeah, 30 seconds left on the clock though. We're going to see people doing their final runs. Tomahawk's in P1. He's improved his time by even more. He's got a 57.7 dead. He's 2/10, or almost 3/10 ahead of Wild Package, who I thought had an astonishing time. And in the second pack, I've just been even further blown away.
Yeah, and Tomba will be going for his last lap right now, and let's see what full send looks like. It might just be me, but it doesn't feel like full send. It looks like Tomba is just so comfortable on this track, placing the car exactly right. and it looks incredibly smooth. No corrections, just going very smoothly. A little bit over grass there. I don't think that was entirely intentional, but he looks so incredibly comfortable, and that is so scary for the competition, because how are you gonna beat a man that is just not stressing at all and just goes into the pit lane instead of improving? Actually, Ultimate Kaiser also is not able to improve. Jonathan Bach still driving as the time has now run out, so everybody finishing now will be done. Shad, unfortunately, I think he's still driving, will be behind Jonathan. Dina also still trying to improve. Actually, they didn't end up getting the chance. And it is Tomahawks in pole position.
Yeah, with a 57.7, so quite a great astonishing lap time from him. While package P2, he was 2/10 behind. Ultimate K as well, very close. Then in P4 goes Gillis Homan, P5 Exevius, P6 Cuckoo, P7 Veilside, P8 Binding, P9 Eisenshank, P10 Eddie, P11 Svi, P12 Jedlin, P13 Asher, P14 Daylau, P15 Jonathan Back, P16 Kunisek, P17 Exus, P18 Dina, P19 Michael, P20 Wither, P21 Chad, P22 Ellie, oh god, who's the last one? And P23 Ticklish Pickle Wickle. I remember that being one of my favourite names from last season, to be honest. Still probably is. Yeah, so yeah, quite the close qualifying, and I've got to say, it's going to be quite close going into T1.
Yeah, look at all the cars lined up. There's a lot of them. But you can also see that they have a lot of space in between them. Really using the space to their advantage that they have on this track. I mean, as a result, the launch should be pretty safe. Even if people don't start, you have some chance to react. And people behind will also be able to see a lot more in advance that things aren't going wrong ahead. But after that, it becomes so difficult to put your car exactly where it needs to be and avoid a crash. Although I think, wasn't it a formation lap that we had first?
There is going to be a formation lap. So everyone's going to be taking it easy off the line. Yeah, so quite the interesting grid. A lot of teams mixed up. So in first we've got Tomahawks, who, if I'm not mistaken, having a look at the teams, is part of Sentinel Motorsports. Such a nice name. I can't lie. It gets is it Sentinel? Yeah, Sentinel Motorsport. And lined up next to him is going to be Wild Package in the Arrows McLaren, and behind him is going to be in the slightly moist Scuderia Ultimate K's, Gillis Homan in the Team Tree Hugger car, Devious in the blue. Is it blue? No,
No, it's different.
The Team
Antmat. Yes. They will go flying off into a formation lap.
Yeah, like the top 6 though, all different drivers from different teams. So far as I'm concerned, there is no dominant team right now. So, yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting if this stays like this and we get points like this where we're seeing multiple different teams towards the front. It's going to be an interesting season, I'll say.
Yeah, it should be. And we did have Cuckoo, of course, winner of the last race in the blue team. Binding, actually teammate, very close already. I believe Dina is a little bit further back, but Binding and Cuckoo, if they intend to do team games, they will be, I think, the most likely candidates to be able to do so. Because for other teams, their teammate is just a little bit too far away to be able to do that, from as far as I have seen. And maybe they'll just collect it a little bit further back.
I mean, I know from preseason I wasn't watching any team strategies, but this isn't preseason anymore, and there are actual points on the line, so we're going to be seeing some team orders, some communication between some drivers, try and help each other get better points. Yeah, it's all it's going to be amazing to see, and hopefully we can see some of these team orders, maybe some drivers helping out each other. But you can see this absolute swarm of cars as someone almost hits a cone.
The pink car's a little bit asleep there, but we're almost ready to go just through this chicane.
As they're side by side, looks like everyone is making it. You can just see though, like how big this track is compared to the cars. It's Tomahawks though to bring the crew away. He's in the starting zone. When is he gonna go?
As late as possible, because that straight is pretty long, and there's a lot
And
of
off he
space, but there
goes!
he goes! Oh, and caught everybody napping, but Ultimate Key is actually immediately on the inside, and taking
right behind.
P2 does
Oh!
a crash behind.
Yeah, that's Fee spun around. Is anyone else? I think, all things considered, that is probably the best Cleveland T1 has ever been taken in the history of Cleveland. But looks like everyone has pretty much made it safe, except for the unlucky Fee. Hopefully he doesn't have damage, but all these cars very close to each other around quite a bumpy track. Hopefully we won't see any or too much banging of cars, and hopefully we'll see some clean racing. Tomahawk's already almost a second ahead of Ultimate K's, and Wild Package behind, looking very keen to get back into P2.
Yeah, and there will be slipstreaming advantage here, of course. These long straights do allow for that. The Wild Package crucially has to be able to stay close through the chicanes, send it more, and that's a lot of speed around the outside then. Of course, K is still on the outside there, so no chance for Wild Package to go on the inside.
He's going to try it all the way around the outside. He's gone a bit wide, a bit deep, but I think, in all fairness, he's got Ultimate K's around the outside. What a move by a Wild Package.
Yeah, and very swiftly done. If he can stay ahead here, although Ultimate K is almost looking on the inside, but nothing there. If he can stay ahead and push, maybe there's a chance to catch up Tomba. But Tomba looks so comfortable, so smooth. It's going to be really difficult to make a move there with him.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the trainers slowly coming single file, and Tomahawk's lead has gone from 1 second to 2. So, well, it looks like Tomahawks might, if he keeps it clean, have this race in the bag already, almost having a Max Verstappen-like start. Oh, that's a lot of... That would probably be a warning from the stewards, since that was a lot of dirt. But I think a lot of drivers need to still come to the fact that there is dirty air, and the fact they won't have as much free air as they did in quali. Oh, I think there's someone spun behind. Towards the back of the grid. I think someone spun.
Yeah, it would be. I'm trying to. Is it Cuckoo? Oh, Cuckoo is very far back now. Yeah.
Yeah, dropping all the way. So our last race winner has now dropped pretty much almost to the back of the grid. That is very unfortunate, but they look like they're trying to make up spaces. They're trying to reach around the outside. It looks like they've got the position done, but they've gone deep. That's going to leave them exposed to Michael behind. Does Michael have the inside?
Ticklish, actually.
Ticklish, not Michael. Oh, Cuckoo's gone off, and that's another car off as well. And Ticklish makes the move up the inside. There's another car off ahead as well. A lot of cars off for separate incidents. You see,
it's such a simple track, and that's exactly what makes it so difficult to find the limits, to race fairly, to put your car exactly where it needs to be. You can see all these drivers making mistakes. Shad right behind Cuckoo, smelling the exhaust fumes, looking on the inside, but things are better off it for now. And yeah, it's a long race, very smart decision
Cuckoo
from Shad.
also
Will be able to.
Cuckoo also finding the inside, yeah, of Xevious. Xevious getting a terrible run off of that corner, and has even left himself compromised to Shad behind. And Shad, Shad spun! Luckily, Xevious able to just avoid that. Extremely unfortunate. As we said, the bumps on this track could be so unpredictable at moments, and that's going to be Shad dropping to the back of the grid. Really unfortunate to see. Jedlin now looking up the inside of Svi. Can he make it? Can he hold it? Oh, that's car on the wall behind as well. Extremely close between all these drivers today.
Yeah, it's action everywhere. We've got right behind Jedlin, right behind Svi, and they're all fighting. And honestly, I'm looking at the timesheet. I don't know where I have to look. There's so much going on here, and they're all keeping each other honest. but also very smart not to just dive in there. There's a huge danger wedge there, basically, where you can stick your car into a path where Jet might not see you. He could end your race right there, but Jonathan thinks better of it and decides, you know what? Gonna get him later, and he will have plenty of opportunity to do so later on in the race.
Exactly. Up ahead as well is the battle going on between Svi and Exus. That's extremely close. I saw Svi looking down into T1. It looks like Exus might actually have better speed going through the third sector. They're actually going extremely slow off that corner. So hopefully that isn't anything due to that first lap incident where he might have picked up damage or not.
Hopefully there's very little damage on the track right now. We do see everyone ahead of Exus actually. The top 9 is spread out very nicely. You can see on the track map. But behind them, there's still all to play for. Actually, we see if we go back a little bit further, I believe got Esche making a move as we speak on one of the McLarens.
Yeah, and looking for a move on. I don't know who that is. That might be a glitch. I don't know who that is actually. In the slightly.
Oh, Michael fighting back there. On the left now of Esche. That will be the inside for the next corner. Have an advantage, but Esche actually sends it around the outside. Carries a lot of speed and inside for this corner. Compromise it a little bit. Michael is still fighting it, and he's ahead.
Yeah, Ash actually themselves compromised to Cuckoo, who's just made it look easy, going all the way around the outside, absolutely committing to that fast right-hand corner.
We're gonna have to keep an eye on Cuckoo, because I feel like she's in her element, being pushed back a little bit, able to show off her racecraft. So that should be very exciting actually to watch, because Cuckoo behind the wheel is an excellent driver to contend with. I would know, having betted with her for like over a lap at Suzuka last season.
Yeah, that being, funny enough, the #1 highlight as well. I remember that very much being one of the best battles of the season. So yeah, maybe Cuckoo not having the quali pace but having the racecraft, so hopefully we'll be seeing them move up the field and hopefully see them make some overtakes. Okay, now still on the back of Exus ahead in that Team Tree Hugger car. So whether he can gain at all, we've seen that he's able to gain so rapidly into that first sector. He loses so much time in the third and second one to the point where it very much balances it out. You can see he's got an ever so slightly better run than Exus as well, just moving a bit to the left to try and lose a slipstream, braking extremely late. Speed does very much was looking for a move around the outside or try to pressure Exus into some sort of mistake, but Exus just keeping his cool right now, keeping Svi behind him, knowing that he's worse in the second and third sector.
Well, actually, I feel like Svi has just got a massive run on him, and Exus is gonna have to look in his mirrors much more than he's looking in front. I think Svi overshot that a little bit. Might have to start copying Exus's lines through the second sector, because a move like that will not make it. Oh, but that's a bit wide from Exus there. Svi will have a better exit through here, and there might be a chance after the next chicane. And Exus is going to have to be careful.
You can see how much he gained there during slipstream and how much more confidence Svi is through the corner. But has he got the overconfidence to make a move on Exus? Exus defending down into the inside. Svi looking for that outside move again. Does he do it? He looks for the switchback move. They're side by side coming out the corner. Who's going to have the run coming into corner 2? It's Svi just ahead. Is he going to be able to keep it in front though, coming through this corner? And it looks like he's just able to. But is he going to be able to defend through this next part? Exus looked a bit compromised, and that's Exus looking down the inside and committing to the move. Extremely close. Are they going to leave each other space? They haven't. Exus making it up the inside back into that P10 position.
Yeah, very nice fight from these two. Svi being able to take advantage of a much better chicane and a very beautiful switchback, but Exus keeping his head where it needs to be in the race and fighting right back. Now that's great for the spectators, of course, but they will have slowed each other down a little bit, and they're gonna have to be careful because Jetlin isn't that far away, all things considered.
Yeah, round 2 going into the hairpin again. Can Svi manage to do it? He's tried to switch back again. Now once again, side by side, a bit of contact coming out of the corner. It looks like X is actually getting the better exit due to that contact. Svi having to just settle behind, not able to make any sort of move, and is going to be stuck behind him during this second and third sector.
Yeah, Svi will have to find something in the second sector here, because this tends to be where X's builds a bit of a gap. And if he doesn't mess up these last few corners here, especially here, because these are very difficult to do, he goes a little bit wide again, and suddenly Svi is right back in it. And again, a good chicane could spell another switchback move, or maybe even earlier from Svi.
Oh, Svi taking the corner a bit wrong, and he's out on the grass. Is he going to lose any positions behind? It looks like he's further enough away, but that's definitely going to lose him a bit of confidence, overcommitting. That's Jedlin boxing. It looks for tyres, and is it potentially for fuel as well? Or are we going to see people? I think actually people seem to be doing a scheduled stop, as I see another car enter the pit lane as well.
I've got a bunch of people already in the pits, Jedlin and Kuni going for an early one. But I think right now those are the only two. And well, there's no safety car. People may have been hoping for a safety car relatively early on to get that early stop in. But it appears that we'll have to do it manually. No safety cars yet. And to me, that's almost surprising. Also a very good sign that these drivers are as professional as you can get them in online leagues and in AMS2. So props to them.
I think we also might have had some DNFs further down the line, but never mind about that. As Ellie, is this Ellie?
Yeah, Elevate, MCR, looking on the inside. Cuckoo overshooting a little bit. Oh, but there's a big cloud of smoke there. Who's that?
That looks to be Michael.
No, so is it Michael? Oh, it's Faye.
It is Faye. It is Faye. You're right.
I'm keep missing him. I saw him go down, but that's Faye on the grass making the same mistake as X's earlier. Or was that the same mistake as Svi earlier? One of them made the mistake earlier.
It was Svi. You are correct. Making the same mistake, I believe, at the same corner, one lap after the other. That's definitely going to reduce his confidence through that corner. And that's Michael as well, pointing the wrong way, but luckily able to now get it facing the right way. That drops him down to P16. Yeah, Cuckoo very much getting quite going quite quick through the field. Did start around P16, but is now P11, so made 5 positions up in his first 13 laps.
Yeah, I think at least one of those is due to pit stops. Svi, of course, spinning around a couple of times. But never mind that, very good race so far. And Elevate actually gonna struggle to overtake, I think. It's not easy, and Cuckoo is a very, very smart driver. You see, covering the inside just a little bit there, still getting a decent exit on Elevate, trying to go a line outside, but a little bit too much, and it actually opens the door for Escher just to come through, just like that.
Yeah, Escher in that Cookie Factory sim racing, able to make a move through, and is going to be very delighted with that. I've just also got to mention, I didn't realise this until until now, but yeah, Ellie actually subbing in for, I believe, Eddie tonight. So unfortunate that Eddie hasn't been able to make tonight's race.
Has he
Oh
not?
no, he is here. Who's he? It's Ultimate K's, and
He's actually fighting with Eisenshank right now.
yeah, I've completely messed that up. It's got to be one of the other teammates. I know Ultimate K's is here, and I know Eddie is here. Got to then be
Yannick.
Yeah, Fennec replacing, right, replacing Fennec. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, Fennec and Trouble not able to make it tonight. But luckily, the reserves drivers coming in clutch for the team.
And doing an excellent job entertaining us all. Elevate is, I think, quite a decent driver, actually, but was it Ellie you were talking about? Yeah, it was Ellie. There you go, I had to remember my delivery. Yeah, doing a great job so far, stepping into this car. It's not an easy car to drive. Well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's complicated, but to drive it on the pace and keep up with people is very, very tough. It's I think it's a little bit of a diva sometimes, especially on the throttle, but it's a lot of fun to get right. It's difficult on the braking as well.
I mean, there's always another thing that you've also got to consider as well with this car, and that's that boost button that I believe has about 300 or 200 seconds of time that you can gain. So whether some drivers are holding it, or maybe a lot of drivers are trying to use it now to get an early lead. Oh, Svi once again touching the grass. Yeah, not having the best race so far. Just not having the confidence in the car to take some of these corners. Yeah, understeering quite a bit. Exos.
Yeah. It's very difficult to keep these cars under control, and you can see people slide a little bit wide, and I suspect, while this track is not necessarily tyre limited, people will be feeling a little bit of understeer later on in their stint. I think some people might start to suffer from that a little bit. Also, if they have just refueled, the car will be a little bit heavier and might also slide out a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure what people are expecting there. But people are just having to deal with ever-changing conditions, the tires wearing, the fuel draining, and then being immediately refilled again after your stop. It's very tough to deal with all.
Oh, Svi going for the dive on Jonathan back, but Jonathan able to just switcheroo it. But you can see how close Svi is to the back, and can he make the move down the inside, or can Jonathan hold it round the outside? It looks like Svi might have compromised himself. We've seen this before with him and Exus, but he looks to be fine. And just up ahead now, Svi has his eyes set on Ellie.
Yeah, it's a very nice little battle here. There's a decent amount of space between people, but there is, of course, a lot of slipstream to be had. And I do think we're seeing that a mistake like that on a corner can very easily spiral into losing a position a little bit later on, although Jonathan not getting the best exit here, and we'll have to settle for this position just for a little bit longer. And there's not much of a difference here on exits, so Svi holding on for now.
Well, I think I think Cuckoo might have made a move on Exus. I remember Cuckoo being in P11 behind Exus, but is now in P9. Was that always the case?
I'm not sure, but P9 is very impressive considering what happened at the start. Yeah, Cuckoo just slicing through the field still and showing some decent pace.
Oh, just behind as well. I see a too wide moment behind. Hopefully they keep it clean. I think between Svi, extremely close, a 3-car battle for that P12 position. Svi down the inside. Can he hold it? Oh, that's Ellie going off. Can they hold it? They keep it on able to keep it on the tarmac, but are they going to leave themselves compromised to Jonathan behind, and Jedden as well lurking in the background?
Yeah, Ellie with a compromised entry there. Jonathan is going to take the full benefit of that. A little bit sketchy there on the grass. Jonathan nicely going through. Ellie just sending it a little bit too hard, losing a position as a result, but not out of the fight yet. Ellie still right with it. Jonathan not with the best exit there. Around the outside, Ellie is looking maybe a better braking zone. Simply not going to be the case. It actually goes wide, slides a little bit. The bumps are devious. And a little bit of wheel spin from Svi ahead. But we do see some people in the lead. Tomahawks into the pits and a Veilside as well.
Yeah, so
yeah, talking about just leaving right now.
I've got to say, this is an extremely weird pit entrance, since you get such a better run technically coming out of the corner on the drivers who are taking the hairpin. So well, we might see some cars battling coming out of the corner and then battling into turn 2. I hope we do see that.
Actually, we might have a chance. I think Veilside's coming out of the pits, and there will be a car ahead, but I think it's just a little bit far. Actually, look at the speed difference though.
You can just see the run. Is Exus going to try and pull to the right? He doesn't seem to defend it. He's just far ahead enough, but he's got more worn tyres since Veilside's pitted. Veilside is going to make that look as easy as taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, and I think he should give the candy back, but not that position. That was a brilliant move. And the tires do make a difference, as we can clearly see. X is struggling a little bit with them, and is going to have to think about pitting too. It is about that moment where you might want to pit. It's technically not a third of the race yet. It will be like one more lap.
Yeah, well, Ultimate K is making it lap 21, so yeah, technically, yeah, a third of the way through. So yeah, you can see a lot of drivers boxing now. So I think we are going to be witnessing a 2-stop tonight.
Has Wild Package stopped? Because if he has, we've got a new leader. He has actually, looking at the time, I'm sure he has stopped, and that would make Tomahawks having lost a position due to pit stops.
That is extremely unfortunate, but good for us, since we hopefully will see some battling between these top groups. We've seen battling further at the back of the grid, but we want to witness it at the front where all the drama is between these two the two guys who started on the front row.
Yeah, and I do have to commend Thomas because he looks so smooth. He doesn't look like shaken at all due to the circumstances here. Package is now ahead, but Thomas is just driving his lines. I doubt he cares. I doubt he sees any other cars except for himself, which sounds selfish, but honestly, it's probably the best for your tires, and doing still a solid job.
I mean, I know this phrase works for me, but most of the time on track, your own worst enemy is yourself. If you lose yourself during the race, or if you forget a corner, or if you all of a sudden lose your train of thought, it could be easily you making a mistake that could lose you 1 to 10 seconds.
And Ultimate Kizer in the pits now. Wild Package is now passing, I think, his pit box. So I think Wild Package will overtake Ultimate Kizer right now. Will stay ahead. Ultimate Kizer not in contention for that lead just yet. But Wild Package doing a very good job. Gillish still hasn't stopped. And once he has, he will rescind the position to our package. However, I need to raise you the point that if Gillish decides to be devious, if he has saved his fuel a little bit, maybe he thinks a one-stop is possible. Maybe he will pull it off, and that might make it difficult for Wild Package to overtake Gillish at the end, and he will have to race for it.
Yeah, I mean, this track though, I mean, it's all about mistakes. So far, I think unless you're going into turn 1, I think the only viable place to overtake is turn 1. Other than that, the only reason you're going to be making up places is if the person ahead of them compromises themselves or makes a big mistake, essentially.
Absolutely. Looking through the field, I don't think there's... I thought Michael was fighting Ali, but he's going into the pits. There's a lot of people are now taking their pit stops. It's a very funky pit entry there. A little bit dangerous, I think, if you're not prepared for it, but these drivers have prepared it. As we look at one of very, very few people to not have pitted yet. Gillish currently in the lead, and actually, I think he's stretching it to 30.
Yeah, I mean, if he can keep this 18 seconds lead, keep his tyres in check. Right now it shows that he's on the options. I'm gonna guess that's no, what the?
I don't know what that was. That was a McLaren. Was it Michael? It was Michael. What happened?
Jesus.
He came out of the pits. I saw him go into the pits earlier. I think he spun going out of the pits.
I got him.
These tyres are already done.
We just got McLaren jump scared. That's what we've just witnessed. But yeah, Gillis though, oh my god. Yeah, quite far ahead, almost getting his lead to 20 seconds. So maybe he's actually been saving his tyres, not battling with people, and has just been running his own race, and maybe we'll be seeing him go for a later stop for maybe fuel, and maybe try to make it a one-stop, which I would gotta say it would be amazing to see a different sort of strategy come out to play.
Absolutely, and he's going to make this race exciting. While Wild Package now has the provisional lead, assuming everybody does the same amount of stops, I suspect we are seeing a difference in strategy where Gillish will make one less stop, and I think a small detail here, he is behind someone right now. He'll be able to get a little bit of slipstream from this, and if he's smart, he'll be able to use this to his advantage and use less fuel. And maybe if he stretches this stint to 32, 33 laps and still is 15 seconds ahead of Wild Package, Wild Package has a big problem and will need to push for his life, because his lead is being threatened right now, and Tomahawks are being very fast at the start and still will have a chance to fight. Well, actually, everything we just said might not matter. Gillish is going into the pits right now. The one stop doesn't look to be quite on, but he is going to be on a different strategy, and Wild Package will get the lead back very, very soon.
Yeah, and hopefully you can see though that Tomahawks actually has dropped a couple seconds behind Wild Package, but it does seem that my heads-up display does seem to be glitching as they pass Gillis in the pit lane. Gillis now only leaving his box now, followed by another car behind. Ultimate K's
He's
as well.
Getting past.
But maybe
Let's
that
see
late.
roughly where he gets out.
Whoa! In front of a spinning car.
It's a lot of jump scares at turn 1. Don't go there. Not unprepared anyway, but Gillish nicely negotiates that. That's very, very scary. Easily done there. On the throttle, this car can be scary. And I feel like some people just weren't quite prepared to deal with it every single lap. It is 60 laps. 60 times you have to do turn 1 perfectly. Eventually you're going to make a mistake if you are not as good as what looks to be the top 4 right now. They're all within 10 seconds of each other, and I think you could say they all have a chance to win, as a car in the background is standing still. It'll be very difficult to find who that is, unfortunately.
Something I just want to mention as well is I find this extremely funny that in the Singapore Grand Prix, which was this Sunday, Jonathan Back actually looking for a move down the inside. That's a dive. Are they going to leave each other space? They have, and that is Jonathan Back into P10, but can Escher get a run off the corner? It looks like they do, but they decide to stay behind, not fight as much, maybe running their own sort of strategy.
It's very possible. Had a much better exit, of course, taking a wider line, better exit as a result, and will have a better run all the way through. But if you're on a much different race, on a much different strategy, maybe you don't want to fight at all. You will lose a couple of seconds because you well, not a couple of seconds, lose a couple of tenths by letting him run away, having to lift off. But in the end, you might gain full seconds just because you didn't fight. And I think Exodus was either getting out of the pits or had a very unfortunate spin there.
So, something though that I do find quite funny is the fact that in the Singapore Grand Prix we had the Ferrari of course win, followed by the McLaren, and then the Mercedes. And are we going to see a similar top 3 where we're going to see the Ferrari in the top 3 podium? Is that Tomahawks going wide?
That is not Tomahawks. Tomahawks is the car ahead.
Okay, so same car, just different teammates. But Ultimate Case actually seems to be getting quite a bit closer. Yeah, as back to what I was saying, with and of course you got the McLaren right now in P1. So are we going to see a similar grid? And of course a black card set. Of course this one being Sentinel Motorsport. But of course, right now, in my imagination, representing Mercedes. So whether we're going to be seeing a similar top 3 podium, or we're going to see the the Scuderia, the McLaren, and Sentinel Motorsport up in the top 3, well, there's still another 30 laps to decide.
Yeah, and Tomahawks looks very vulnerable. Ultimate Kaiser with a 59 last lap, and a much better run there. Tomahawks leaving the door open on the inside, and Ultimate Kaiser goes for it. Takes P2 away from Tomahawks, who looked so comfortable at the start of this race. He made a big mistake there, lose a bunch of time, and that is Kaiser comfortably ahead.
Yeah, quite right. His first stint looked absolutely looked like an absolute domination, but I think the lap before his pit stop, and maybe during his pit stop, something's changed, maybe with his car setup, or maybe he's picked up a bit of damage. He definitely doesn't look up to his amazing pace that we've seen at the start of this race.
saw Binding jump there, standing still. I think Binding had a big crash. Might have to... No, he doesn't repair, doesn't go into repair. So maybe his car's okay, but it didn't look like he had a good time there driving again.
Yeah, still though extremely close. And are we going to see Binding go for a dive? He's thinking about it. He pokes his nose in to try and pressure Escher into a mistake, but Escher keeping their cool and finding enough Binding being the one making a mistake, touching the grass on the outside. Maybe unfortunately psyching themselves out there.
Still got the fighting spirits. I think Binding thinks he's faster than Escher, and he very well might be, but you're gonna have to prove it by overtaking on track. That's easier said than done. And this, of course, will be the area where he made the mistake last time. First corner is not the problem, but the exit you want to maximize. Not maximizing it right now, very far away from the grass. Missed that apex, and you lose so much time. You see Escher nailed it a little bit better, and is so far ahead right now. So Binding, I think, loses his opportunity there, and will have to settle for P10 for right now.
I genuinely think it's all in the bumps that because we see people constantly going wide and in a way taking similar lines to Binding, and I think there's got to be some sort of just bump that if you go ever so slightly off your line, it can very much push you wide off that corner.
Yeah, it does look like what is going on there a little bit. Some drivers may be able to anticipate it just a little bit better than Binding has. Is that... no, there's not one package behind him. I think it might be someone else that is lapped. One package comfortably in the lead though, 4 seconds behind him. And actually, I'm looking, Gillish, I think, is catching up to Tomba.
Oh, that's going to make Tomba's day very much worse than it already is. Starting on pole, he's now in P3, 6 seconds behind the lead, which is not where he wants to be, but still a podium position, which is still really good points. But whether he's going to be able to bring it, it's still to be seen over these next 30 or so laps.
Yeah, and of course Tomahawks is a very competitive driver, from what I know. He really does like to drive fast and win races, lift those trophies, and he will absolutely not be amused by his pace right now. He's probably hoping he's on a different strategy, because if this is actually where he is, that's very, very dire. Because Gillish, I know, extremely fast, a very strong driver, but tends to be a little bit more, let's say, light about it. So he doesn't care that much if he doesn't quite win the race. It looks so scary through that chicane every time. They use so much grass and then are completely fine on the exit. And you know what, I'm terrified every time. So, but Gillish still with a 59.8, Tomahawks at 59.9. And they're still a little bit slower actually than the drivers ahead. Kiese and Package in a league of their own. Problem is Kiese is 5 seconds behind Wild Package, and will have to maybe catch up through pit stops. That will be his best chance right now. You see Gillish making a bit of a mistake, but he is all right. Still driving, looking the right way. Want to look at this.
I've been looking at that time between Wild Package and Pace, and it looks like that Wild Package is sort of keeping him in that 5 second gap, but sometimes just ever so slightly breaking into the 6 seconds. And so obviously still pushing, still wanting to try get away, not wanting any sort of chance of a potential undercut from Ultimate K's behind.
Yeah, I think Kiese made a little bit of a mistake there. 1-1 is not what you want to see on your timing sheet. And the drivers behind that. Wild Package actually super consistent in the 59s, and that is probably one of the most impressive feats he's showing today. As flat and boring as this track might seem, setting fast laps every single lap, lap after lap, is going to be very difficult. As you see, I think Wither always had someone else that completely cut the course there, but I think it was very slow. Might have some damage with a little bit far back. Thought it might have been him, but he's alright. Do see Binding actually very close to Escher.
Yeah, these two have been quite close for some time, but no moves have been made. I remember seeing Escher make the move on Binding, but Yeah, Binding's just been staying in within that second gap, as we see, as you said, that car that cut the corner seems to be Svi, who is now boxed in, and I think that is going to be chances are for damage. I definitely saw a bit of crabbing as he.
Oh no, oh, we saw that live on camera. Oh, we are seeing this live on camera. Svi, you're gonna have to explain this in the interviews. What is going on? What is going on? No, actually, seriously, what happened?
I think he might have been at the wrong box.
No. It's very clearly indicated where you have to be. What is going on there?
Oh, I don't know, but Gillish and... Oh no, that's a back mark. I thought that was Tomahawk's, but still though, extremely close. I think Tomahawk's teammate there, maybe making it a bit harder than he did to Tomba, trying to give all that advantage to Tomahawks to keep that P3. But Gillis is definitely gaining and is almost within a second of Tomahawks. Oh my god, they're going extremely... 2 tyres off the grass. Not on the grass. But yeah, extremely close. Uh-oh.
Is Gillish disconnected?
No,
I think we
no.
might have seen Gillish disconnect live.
Is that
We're looking at Tomba right now.
I think Gillish is... We've lost him!
No!
And that's the battle for P3 over in the most undramatic fashion I think I've... Well, maybe a bit of dramatic. Because I never would have expected a disconnect. But that is going to be Tomba securing the P3. Maybe Tomba's teammate deciding can't hold him up that much, so I'm going to DDoS him. I'm sure that was just some unfortunate circumstances for Gillis, and that's going to be a disconnect from P4. He's potentially looking for that P3. That is extremely unfortunate, and I would be fuming.
Yeah, if you are in chat right now, I'm thinking F in chat is exactly what we need right now. That was actually heartbreaking. He's had such a good race, great potential for the end, being on a slightly out of sync strategy there, but yeah, unfortunately the disconnection is merciless. Yeah, I'm gutted as well. Emil mentioning it in the chat, I feel exactly the same.
Yeah, something that isn't so gutting though is the fact that Cuckoo is P6, but maybe not for long, since Jonathan Back is gaining to the back of them. But the fact they're in P6, the fact they're in single digits at this moment in time is insane. Like, I've got to judge their qualifying pace. I've got to. But I'm sorry, their racecraft is on another level on this track that I don't think I've ever seen. Absolutely insane racecraft, starting from about P16 and getting 10 positions. I mean, I know Sebastian Vettel a couple of years ago said the most overtakes get jelly beans, but genuinely, with this sort of performance that Cuckoo's getting, she deserves a 1 million jelly beans. I've got to admit, this is absolutely insane performance, getting in P6 from P16. What an insane drive!
Yeah, I mean, Cuckoo is a very strong driver, very good racecraft. Comes alive in racing situations. It's being consistent lap after lap after lap. It is honestly incredible sometimes, and very, very smart. A little bit of Carlos Sainz in it. But yeah, halfway through the race, P6, over halfway actually, after what we saw at the start, I think that's an incredible performance, and maybe even an early driver of the day shout out worthy. As you see one of the teammates of Ultimate Chiesa being overtaken there, and actually Ultimate Chiesa himself in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Ultimate K's seems to be caught by Tomahawks. Maybe Tomahawks was not using as much of his tyres. We definitely commented saying, well, I definitely remember saying that his first stint wasn't looking too good, but he seems to have got back in that pace. All of a sudden the pressure goes to Ultimate K's. And hopefully we see some battling now between these two.
Yeah, it seems like their paces have swapped in between. It's like they driver swapped halfway through the race, seemingly, because Ultimate Chiesa was on the back foot at the start. Tomba was like so fast. and now they've seemed to swap roles there, and now back again. Tomahawk's now faster and catching Ultimate Kaiser. Either way, this is not going to be decided this stint, I fear. I think it's going to be after pit stops and maybe even in the next stint that we're really going to see who is going to take that second spot on the podium. And maybe even better, although Wild Package, a 59.1 on the clock just, I'm not sure they're going to match that. That is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely insane. You'd think he's running a quali sesh right now, but no, he's not. But yeah, as you said, Tomahawk's getting extremely close, losing 2 tenths last lap, but the lap before that he was 4 tenths quicker, and that's a stopped car and a very bent front nose.
Yeah, Kuni was very close to Svi. Might not be related, but yeah, Kuni happens to be facing the wrong way, but car now facing the right way again. Hopefully not actual damage. Sometimes damage visually carries over even after repairing it. But yeah, standing the wrong way around. Not really what you want to see. Normally Kuni, I think, in race pace is quite alright, but just having a rotten day today. Hopefully things will be looking up very soon as Tomba is still chasing down Kaiser, and that will be, I think, the closest race we have right now.
As I mentioned in qualifying, this track definitely not suited to some people's driving, and definitely an odd one. So maybe some drivers really showing how quick they can adapt to a circuit tonight, and how well one can make a setup quickly to try and get as much power and aero out of the car.
Yeah, but it's also the case that I noticed from the last race where we saw, I think it was a little over halfway through the race, a lot of drivers started losing their tires and being caught off guard by it. I think there's a lot of drivers that don't do a full stint on full pace and try to see how the tires last. People might be getting caught out just by the tires going and not sure if not sure if they'll handle the corners.
Yeah, so hopefully something that I've also been noticing is that, oh no, that was quite well, but Ultimate K is, yeah, quite far away. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought, but yeah, Ultimate K's trying to get a gap from Tomahawks, and the leader, actually, Wild Package, pitting. So I wonder where they're going to come out in proportion to Ultimate K's and Tomahawks, since we have hit the 2/3 mark of the race.
We're well beyond it. Kaiser has the lead for right now. We'll have to rescind it at least the Wild Package later. Wild Package will hope that he comes out in clean air. Blue flags, of course. I'm not sure exactly what the blue flag rules are, but whatever they are, you're still going to lose a little bit of time. But look at the clean air on the map in front of him. Wild Package is going to be able to set whatever lap time he damn well pleases, and will be really taking a shot at securing this win right in front of Lake Erie in Cleveland here today.
I mean, yeah, Wild Package is very much going to be in that free air, and I do genuinely wonder, are we actually going to see him potentially get a 58-second lap in a race? I mean, we've seen he's got the pace to get low 59s, and with all this clean air, do you think he's got the potential, after coming straight out of the pit lane with new tyres, new fuel, do you think he's got that potential to get into the 58s, get that fastest lap?
Well, the car will be very heavy, so it will be very difficult, but I don't think he cares too much about that. He is pushing like hell regardless. All he needs to do is be faster than Kaiser and Tomahawks, and I actually think he's already managing. Oh, but Tomba, no,
wait,
well,
that's Kaiser.
Kaiser has no rear wing. What?
What in the absolute turn of events has happened? He's running the speedway layout, clearly. That is absolutely, and it mustn't have been that big of a crash because no one really noticed it. I wouldn't say that.
He was still ahead at the time. What can happen, and I've had this in actually the last Suzuka race that we did, the finale of the last season, where I barely touched the rear of someone else's car, and the rear wing just spontaneously disassembled. And I think that might have been what happened here. That's so unfortunate, though. That is basically a case of terrible luck. Chiesa is forced to pit. The good news for him is that he will be able to make it to the end, but he will have lost time and will have to fight to be able to overtake Tomahawks and fight for a second place on the podium. A third place, I think he still may have, but it depends on the repair time. So we'll see where he comes out.
So it's Tomahawks right now in P1, but it's Wild Package in net P1 behind him. So yeah, as we see Tomahawks barrel into the pit lane, full speed, hopefully not crashing into that tyre barrier there. And it will be Wild Package.
He's already here. He's already at pit entry. Wild Package is going to take this lead and then some. He's going to set a 59.5 last lap, which is already a very fast lap. This time he does it just a little bit faster for good measure. And he goes into lead. Tomahawk still standing still in the pits. That is a massive lead. That is a massive undercut he's pulled off. And Tomahawk is really going to have his work cut out for him if he still intends to fight for a win here.
I wonder where Ultimate K's is going to come out, though, compared to... Oh, that's a flying Ultimate K's. He's coming through the last corner, and he's definitely... I think he's lost that position. As you see that car just in front coming out, that is Tomahawk's. That is going to be K's losing that P2 position. Actually, not having that bad of an outlap, though, if he's still with 5 seconds within, even when losing your rear... even when losing your rear end. I also noticed because of Emil is Eddie in P5. Where's he come from?
Well, he's in the pits right now. He will drop back a little bit, but he's been there all race, just being super consistent and driving his own race. It's paying off for him. Currently in P5, exiting the pits. Escher going into the pits. Cuckoo is quite a way behind that. I don't think she'll be overtaking Escher in a meaningful capacity, given that she still has the pits. But yeah, there's a couple of drivers here in front doing an excellent job. And it's showing. Oh, Tomba. Has he gone? Has he not refueled? What happened?
I think a Ferrari strategy has been pulled. And that is going to be Tomahawk's boxing. That is not going to be good for Sentinel Motorsport one bit.
Oh, and he has to reverse. Oh. What's going on?
I don't think they're fueling his car. I think there might be a pit lane glitch.
I think we might have the refueling glitch. Normally that's the first time, though, that you don't get refueled. Maybe his tires didn't switch? It's really strange either way, and he will not be happy. Maybe he had some damage that wasn't repaired. That's also possible.
Yeah,
Maybe he did hit Chiesa just a little bit harder than we assumed.
As we see, I think that's a McLaren off on the grass. Hopefully they rejoin safely. Yeah, no, not too many incidences today, and I have to say, halfway through this race, I did realise that I did forget to put the pole up for the safety car. But so far, it doesn't seem that there has actually been one.
No, and honestly, it's been a very clean race for the most part, from what I've seen. A couple of spins, a couple of small incidents. We don't quite know what happened between Chiesa and Tomahawks yet. Honestly, there might be water on the bridge at this point, because Tomba's race has been completely ruined. And yeah, Chiesa is still in P2, exactly what he was fighting for. But yeah, for the most part, there's been a couple of single incidents with just one car making a mistake, but not too many collisions, what we can see.
I mean, it's just going to be absolutely just very unfortunate, though, just Tomahawks, who's Tomahawk's out. I think Tomahawk's is out.
I think he's race quit, and honestly, I can understand it if the pit lane didn't work correctly. Maybe he'll say something in league chat or in chat and let us know what happened exactly. But yeah, that must be it's so frustrating for him. Switch to this one. This is what I want to see.
Oh, the battle between Escher and Cuckoo. We've seen Cuckoo's pace come out in this race today, but do they have the defense since Escher is all sorts of behind Cuckoo?
Yeah, Cuckoo definitely has the defense if we think back again. You only have to look at Suzuka, but I'm sure she's seen it a lot. She's done it a lot. We've seen a lot from her. Very smart driver, very good at defending when needed. Just gonna have to do it for another, what's gonna be 13 laps after this one. It's easier said than done. It's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, just don't need to make too many mistakes. Don't overdo it. She's not looking for P4, but she's definitely looking to keep that P5 position. Whether that can be done today, it's all up to whether they make a mistake or not.
Yeah, and it almost looks like Cuckoo just had a very boring race. I think this is roundabout where she started the race. I think it was P6 actually, but with Tomba out of the race, it's basically as if nothing happened at the start. Just a very boring race, maybe a little bit off the pace, being a minute off. But you know what actually happened, of course, losing every position possible at the start, fighting all the way back to where she started, and now is gonna have to defend this position. Granted, Escher doing a very solid job today, but yeah, very. If you look at the start and finish positions, it's gonna look very boring. It's been anything but, as we do see. I think Jonathan Back maybe hitting the wall a little bit too much. There could be a bit of lag.
Hopefully no damage for him, but you can just see how close Escher is and how much commitment going through that corner. Oh, car's almost overcommitting there, almost going all 4 tyres off onto the grass. I can say from experience that that is not something you want to be doing. Someone who's also wanted to get involved in this fight is the laggy driver of Jonathan Back, with Escher in their sights. Hopefully they don't get too close and cause that damage, since I know laggy cars in AMS2 can very much be well, extremely dangerous. You can just see though, this will probably look different from Jonathan's point of view, but you can just see how much they've gained on them, and whether we're going to be seeing some non-laggy battling, I do wonder.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be an issue in the actual battle. Closing in very close behind Escher and will have a chance. We did see them jump around. It's getting a little bit unpredictable, so I hope Escher understands this and knows just to leave a bit.
Oh, and that's the contact.
There is a lot of contact, and he's jumping all the way around. And unfortunately, it's very hard to communicate to a driver, you're lagging too much, please be extremely careful. I'm not sure if that was lag, I'm not sure what they saw, but that is Escher being pushed off. Hopefully no damage. Yeah, P7 now.
Without a doubt though, that is going to be that is very much going to be a steward's ticket in the making. And yeah, I think hopefully words aren't being thrown in the voice chat, but I definitely think there is going to be some confusion between the two, saying you pushed me off, and the other car being really confused, maybe due to lag or maybe some desync involved there.
Let's see if Escher stays out, and yeah, there doesn't appear to be too much damage. If it is there, it is bearable, and hopefully it isn't there at all. We'll be able to continue.
Something I've noticed that's extremely funny now is the fact that Jonathan has, it looks like his Wi-Fi is cleared up as he's made the overtake.
It looks a lot smoother now. It's a little bit wiggling with the network cable to pass. Of course, that's a joke. I'm not accusing him of foul play here. But yeah, thankfully the Wi-Fi has cleared up a little bit. As Escher is getting closer, there will be a clean fight for a good overtake here.
I definitely think that Escher is going to be quite upset that they've been taken out of the battle. for P5 and is going to have to try and settle for P6 to try take that position from Jonathan back. To take the position away from Jonathan back. Sorry, I said that in my head and was like, oh my god, I can't believe that.
Through the chicane, side by side. Is that going to be possible? Where's Jonathan? Oh no, he's way ahead. Oh, okay. Escher thought better of it, and I think that's a smart thing to do. Taking just a normal outside line, not trying to fight it too hard. Oh, but I think Jonathan went a bit wide there. A little bit of a chance for Escher, but not the best exit. Actually letting a McLaren catch up. I don't think... Is that Daylau?
That looks to be a front runner.
I think that is a wild package, actually.
Yes, that is wild package. Watching these two battle.
Oh, and Jonathan made a mistake. Jonathan is behind. And
yeah.
Escher is ahead.
Yeah, hopefully. But whether Jonathan can use this card in front of wild package, maybe punch a hole so that when... oh, that's Escher off, going wide. That's going to leave them compromised to Jonathan back. They're going too wide now into the chicane, I believe. And hopefully they leave each other space. It looks like Jonathan back getting in front and cutting in front. That looks like Escher going wide and losing so much time. Actually being compromised. Yeah, compromised to Daylau now, since Daylau extremely close in that McLaren car.
And as I said, Daylau, before the session in practice at the start, was completely clueless, had no idea where to go. I had to tell him where to go, in fact. Hadn't driven the car at all. But in the span of doing that practice, a little bit of qualifying, and now this race, it's doing 1 minute lap times, and it has caught up to a fight that is essentially for 5th place if you look a little bit ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So whether he can, you know, look good in a just coming in and adapting to the car, maybe he might be someone to sign up as a proper driver for next season and whatever car that's going to be.
Yeah, well, Daylau, I think it's been on and off a little bit, but absolutely, like, especially if you're young, you get like so much better every single race. But in any race, really just improve every single race they do. And I think Daylau is on the up in terms of a bit of skill level. And P8, I think, already be really happy with. He's not even a permanent driver. He's standing in for Roonlink today. But yeah, currently P8, and should be happy with that.
Funny enough, overlapping one of his teammates as well. But yeah, he's very much going to be looking for that P7, and he's got 7 laps to do it. Whether he can gain that confidence, push that ever so like little bit harder. Hopefully, we'll see this in the last lap's fee, which is a couple laps down, but he's got Exus in his sight. I remember actually this battle happening before, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was exactly. That's exactly why I'm here. Svi versus Exus. It's a reprise. They're doing an encore, except instead for P10 or P9, whatever it was, now fighting for P14.
Yeah, they were both once on the lead lap. They're now about a lap or so behind, but definitely a rivalry forming there. As we see Daylau pits, I think they're going to come out ahead of Jedlin, who's behind, and is going to be able to keep that pit
through. But yeah, coming out of the pits there and losing out to fighting. Still P9, very nice, but P8 was much nicer.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully, that Speedo. It looks like Svi is slowly. Last lap he was 5/10 quicker than Exus ahead. And whether he's been able to learn just by staying behind Exus, whether he's been able to learn and understand the lines he's taking through that last sector compared to what he was doing, both drivers improving on that lap time. Svi actually almost going his quickest. But yeah, 4/10 quicker that lap, so we're definitely going to be seeing some battling, considering that these two are only separated by about a second or so.
Of course, you can see the Pink Panther putting a little bit of extra in the fuel there. I think that might be what Svi is using to catch up to Extus. Extus will have to really look behind him. It's only a couple of laps, so defending is absolutely something you can consider to do now, and you might get an extra position out of it by the end. Although we do see Escher very, very close to Jonathan now, and these are also going to be fighting very soon.
Yeah, exactly. Dale sadly not part of this battle anymore, but he's definitely gonna be if it weren't for that, I believe, drive-through you said. See a bit of smoke come from the back of it, Jonathan Back's tyres. Whether we're going to be seeing any overtakes over these next 4 laps between them, hopefully we will.
Will be very interesting, but it's going to be a very, very tough one, I think, for Jonathan actually to hold on, because one corner like that and Escher is right there on top of him.
I do need to also correct myself. It isn't 4 laps. It's actually going to be 2, considering that wild package, the leader, is on lap 61.
Of course, everybody here is actually lapped. I'm not sure, but wild package is on track. Yeah, they lapped twice, I think. Wild package, of course, been dominant and actually is on lap 62 of 63 now. 2 more to go. Been a dominant force. Not from the start. From the start, I think he started on the front row, but not exactly fighting for the lead immediately. Had to get it after the first round of pit stops. Has been on top of it since then.
Yeah, there looks to be some battling between Exus and... Is it Exus and Sphere? I see some back markers. Yeah, I definitely saw getting extremely close, and they are... Exus is going to have to try and defend over these next 2 laps, and he moves to the left-hand side. Svi looking around the outside, but has Exus compromised himself? No, he hasn't. Svi's taking it a bit too light through that corner.
Just checking up on these two, because they are still very close to each other. But Jonathan actually got a little bit away there through those corners, and I think Escher made a big mistake. That's going to take some time to catch back up to. But Svi, very, very close behind Exus here.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him. He's had the pace before, and he's definitely regained that confidence going through the chicane again. Exus moving to the right-hand side. Svi moving to the left. They're under braking. Who's going to come out in front out of this corner? Svi trying to switcheroo. He's trying it for the 3rd time this race on Exus. Who gets the better exit? Is it going to be Exus? Is it going to be Svi? Svi does, and he dives in front of Exus, but Exus coming back, trying to lunge it down the inside, and that's Svi making a mistake, seeing him poke it down the inside, and Exus back into P14.
Exus will take the win for that fight, but someone who is about to take the win for the race, Wild Package, has been a Wild Package on track, extremely quick and untamed. Nobody could stop this man today. He will be taking the lead of the championship after today in a very, very dominant win in front of Leigh Geary. P1 for Wild Package and the championship leader after race 1.
Yeah, honestly, beating Ultimate K's by about 30 seconds. It's not an easy task to do, I'll say that. And yeah, battle between Judlin and Daylau. These two are very, very close, but I think it is going to be Daylau to just hold on through these next hand corners. But honestly though, what a race we've had today. We've had some sad disconnects. We've had some extremely close battling between some back groups, and we've had some absolute pit stop shenanigans. But no safety car. No safety car. Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be Wild Package taking P1, Ultimate K's P2, Eisenshank and Team Treehugger sneaking it up into P3. I've got to say, where did he come from?
I don't think Eisenshank has been involved in any battles today, and it's worked out. P3, you know, very calmly. Actually, everybody lapped except for Ultimate Kaiser. And of course, Wild Package winning the race. Eisenshank, though, very solid job in P3. Eddie also quiet but deadly. And in P4, Cuckoo Nobody expected Cuckoo in P5 after what happened at the start of the race. But there she is. Jonathan Mack in P6, Escher in P7, Binding 8th. Delau in 9th after having to make that extra stop at the end. We've got Jetlin in P10, Xevious in 11th, Ticklish in 12th. We've got Kunicek in P13, Svi in P14, X's in P15, Elevate only managed a P16, and with a, I think, maybe, no, he did finish the race, but had a rotten day, I think. Only 3 pit stops. Elevate, 8 pit stops, that's a record. But yeah, those two, unfortunately, not with the best result today. But they did finish in the end, and that shows character. I respect it.
Honestly, I could not agree more. Yeah, now it's time for the interviews to try and work out what happened between some battles. So let's see who out of the drivers has joined. We've already got 4 drivers in the chat. Since you're here, I'm gonna let you pick first. We got a choice, but we got 2 people just. Oh, okay. You know what? There's
Wild Package has to be first.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've
winner.
just seen Wild Package join, and you know, he's now a celebrity at this point, so more famous than Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, let's bring our race leader in. No, race winner. Sorry, not leader.
Still leading, but I can't pull him in, so you'll have to do it.
Hello.
Hello and welcome, Mr. Wild Package, race winner and championship leader after today. How are you feeling?
Thank you. It's amazing. I really didn't expect this to happen because I literally opened the track yesterday just to see what it is, to see if there's any time trial setups that I could take. There was nothing, and then today I just spent 2 hours driving with AI, and I'm surprised and proud that I learned the track that I never knew, and then P1.
That's impressive to hear, but very well done. Your first stint, however, it didn't look like you were fighting for a victory so much. What happened that you were suddenly ahead after that?
I think I don't know what happened. I have to check with the guys because it seems like they were much slower, like they were losing pace, and I kept having the same pace throughout the whole stint. In the beginning, I think I was also a bit more careful. Going from a quali setup to the race setup, I was not completely sure how far I could push it. But then later on, I think I was pretty consistent and I kept pushing and I found, the tires gripping. So it was pretty good. And I think I was lucky. I think they had some issues with traffic, right?
Very possible. But I think the other drivers, unfortunately, something happened between Tomahawks and Keza that caused them to drop back very far. I think you had a little bit of margin there. Do you have any idea what happened?
No idea. I think they were trying to avoid someone, and then I think Tomba was doing some evasive acrobatics, and then they probably hit each other.
Evasive acrobatics. I'm gonna check the replay now to see this. I'm
not gonna lie. It was pretty hard to overtake the back markers who didn't notice that they were being overtaken, and it almost cost me a wing. I think I lost some downforce on that last past right-hander, and I don't know. I think I hit the wall, but I went out pretty fine. But yeah, it was a tricky one. Also, wondering if that 10 plus 10 minute qualifying works, if the second group gets better grip for the quali.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that been discussed, which is why I think we are swapping them around. But I think we do a swap. So hopefully whoever, well, I think the next race is actually in the rain anyways, so
oh yes,
hopefully.
Okay, so there's a chance that I could win again.
yeah. I mean, are you looking forward to next race at
shit, no.
Indianapolis road course in the rain, I must add?
No, I forgot. I'm going with my students on an excursion, and I won't be there next week.
No, leave him, leave him, leave
No.
him, leave him. I'm kidding.
Just tell him you're championship leader. You have
Yeah.
to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
The excursion is out. You have to watch Mr. Wild Package do his race.
I'll just do everything online, and you just watch me race, and then that's it.
I mean, you're
Yeah,
sponsored by Red Bull. You've got to try and win every race now until like round.
Well,
Wait,
I
no, we
mean-
only have 7 rounds, but like still.
Well, yeah, Verstappen couldn't do it, so it's fine, you know.
Yeah, honestly though, what a yes, it's a very interesting start, but altogether a very dominant drive towards the end.
Oh yeah, I started in wrong gear. I was completely caught out by rolling start. I thought I'm normally pretty good at standing starts. Rolling starts, it's like okay, hit or miss.
Yeah, and then yeah, honestly, a dominant race. The only person you're not lapping was Ultimate Case, and you still beat him by 35 seconds, which yeah, it isn't an easy job to do at all by any standard when it comes. But honestly,
I think we both back off at the end. I think we were lapping a second and a half slower than normal because we had quite a gap, I think. Yeah.
I did notice the lap times dropping a little bit at the end there, but of course, Kaiser did have the incident near the end. But it was a very nice fight between, I would say, 4 drivers. You, of course, being the winner of that group. Tomba, unfortunately, having too many incidents. I think he had to pit twice at the end and unfortunately had to retire. And Gillish had a disconnect. Do you know anything about that?
No idea.
It's very unfortunate.
It's a pity for the pits because I was curious how we were gonna end up after my second pit stop. But yeah, I seem to have gained traction after the first stint. So yeah.
yeah. Sadly, we must continue with the interviews, but it's been great. Great having you. Great watch you, especially during the start. But yeah, and we as much as you're not going to be with us next week, sadly, hope to see you though for the race after that. Then, where hopefully we'll see just a dominant drive as they.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you for the commentary and the interview. And I'll catch you next time then.
Always have a good one.
Ciao, ciao.
Right, Nisma, I think it's time for pulling in number P2.
Oh yeah,
Kaiser was the only other driver to finish on the lead lap. As I do scroll down and see there's been 4 tickets already opened at this race.
I am so interested to see his point of view and what his reaction was when his rear wing got taken off. So let's bring him right in.
To fix this. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Quite an amazing start to the race, I've got to say, but towards the end, we realised you'd lost the rear wing. What's the story behind that?
Oh, I guess you didn't catch it. Yeah, pretty easy. I pretty much only thought I could go 1 more lap because apparently on those one tires I was a bit faster than Tomba behind me. And yeah, I just going into sector 2, I just lost the rear, spun around, hold the brakes all the way, but sadly collected Tomba. I don't think Tomba really had damage from that, to be honest, because he carried on. But yeah, I lost my rear wing completely, and surprisingly was still P3. The gap was pretty big after the first 3, I guess. But yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
the first 4 drivers, later 3, when Gillish disconnected, did have their own little fight ahead. 10 seconds between you 4, but the rest was a little bit further away. But really unfortunate to hear about the spin. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't catch that. We called it like right after we saw you spin with the without the wing attached anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been maximum of P3 in the end. It's really lucky I was P2. Because Tomba had an issue where the car wouldn't refuel, and like C also had that issue and could fix it on the 3rd attempt, but Tomba didn't have enough fuel for that. So I'm pretty pissed at Reza for having those bugs in the game, but nothing we can do to change that for now. But yeah, regarding Wild Package, he was insanely quick, especially on the second stint. So well-deserved win there, and I'm just the lucky second here.
Still, even after that collision, being the only one not being overlapped by Wild Package, what sort of feeling does that make you feel with Wild Package's absolutely amazing pace?
I mean, I was a few seconds behind before I crashed, I guess, but it wasn't like insane, I'd say, because traffic also plays a role, obviously, and stuff. So I think it's still beatable, as good as it was. But yeah, I was really surprised, to be honest, to have that big gap. But on the other hand, the track is pretty short, and the dirty air was noticeable, definitely, especially in the fast corners. So I guess you have some sort of a gap between each car, and then it just grows bigger, and you get those lapped cars. But yeah.
Next race is Indy Road Course in the wet.
Yeah.
How are you feeling for that? Because I definitely know gonna be very much a different experience than today.
Yeah, usually I like wet weather races. Had my first win in the stock cars as well in the wet, and wasn't bad in the Formula 1 League either, so I'm expecting a good result, because usually I can cope quite well with that. But yeah, the tires are not gonna warm up, the wets are pretty cold, and also visibility is kind of a thing with the aero screen, so it's definitely gonna be interesting.
A difficult challenge ahead then. Yeah, a P2 at the start of the season then. Not quite in the lead, but I heard from Wild Package that he will not be driving the next race.
Yeah.
Of course, I think one result is dropped, so there will be
Correct.
dropped result.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the rest of the season? Do you think you have a shot at winning this?
Due to the fact that Tomba has his drop result already, and I think RuneLink will at least miss one other race. I think I have a good shot, to be honest. If I can, keep a similar amount of pace as in the Formula 1 League, I think I have a shot, definitely.
Yeah, of course, running being in the back foot, missing at least 2 races, one of those results will not be dropped. But you, Tomba, and Wild Package will have all the chances to get as many points as possible. Tomba, already having his dropped result today, will have to be more perfect, of course. It's going to be an exciting fight for the rest of the season, and hopefully see more battles between you three.
Yeah, I think a lot of other drivers also still have a chance, because the Indy 500, you get, I think it's 50 points for the win. So that's compared to the 31 you get from the road courses. So I think if you have a good result there, you are also well in the fight.
Of course, with ovals, anything can happen. Anything can win those points, and it might completely shake up the order after the first 2 races have set some semblance of normality. Let's see how the Indy 500 checks that around.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for the stream. We'll definitely probably enjoy watching it tomorrow, and yeah, don't want to block the interview space any longer. So you guys have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Yeah. See you next week.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us. And of the rest of the people, I have a preference, but I'll let you decide.
Well, I have a preference too. You see, I think we should bring in the recovery and the racecraft master themselves, Cuckoo, into the chat.
Our minds think alike. Cuckoo, of course, had a brilliant race. Well, yeah, bring her in, and we'll ask her about it. Because hello, Cuckoo. And,
been kidnapped again.
yeah, you are here against your will. Please do not resist.
It's becoming a pattern, isn't it? This is what, 3 weeks in a row now?
But you're always in the interview room, and you always have an interesting race. So why didn't you tell us about this one?
Race, and it was all my fault. Yeah, lap 2, just too wide out of turn 1, touched the grass and spun it. It was like, yeah, I think I was like second to last or something after that spin, and somehow I've ended up like P5 or 6, because apparently Jedlin says they got counted an extra lap down than they should have been, so it's 5th or 6th depending on what happened there with Jedlin, but I'm very pleased with that recovery, to be honest. It was good.
Yeah, honestly, absolutely amazing. We saw you qualify around P6, and after that incident, excuse my honesty, but I genuinely thought you would be out the running, and I remember looking at you and going, "Hang on a second, I've seen this story before where you've all of a sudden made it up the pack."
It's
and
the Silverstone moment and the Watkins Glen moment. It's happened again.
But honestly, though, it's like your racecraft when it came to overtake.
I don't know what it is with me in recovery drive. Something just works. I should spin at the beginning every race.
Yeah, I mean, if you're bringing out drives,
it works.
if you're bringing out drives like this, I'm scared to see what you'd be like if you don't end up spinning, because, I mean, you've showed us that you're quick on ovals, and if you're as quick as you were on your recovery drive in this track, I'm definitely going to be someone to be feared at the top of the leaderboard.
I can only hope so. I mean, I did like 5th in the F1 league, so I'm hoping to be somewhere around the same if the first 3 races have been anything to go off of. Obviously, including pre-season and that, because they were actually quite good for me as well. Yeah, no contacts with any cars, so kept it clean. I was pretty pleased.
Yeah,
He had some impressive runs in the V10s as well, of course, and I mentioned our last race a couple of times, the battling we did, and of course, big expectations from you to repeat performances like that, including a win last time around. You seem to have a pretty good grasp of these cars already. Do you think you have a good chance this season to improve on your 4th place result?
They're feeling quite good. I'm hoping I can better where I finished in the V10 league. Whether or not that actually happens, I think remains to be seen. Obviously, there's some very strong competition at the top. I mean, I was quite fortunate. I can't remember who. I think it was Tomba ended up having issues and DNFing, so that gave me an extra position there. So it sort of depends whether I make a silly mistake at the beginning and just how strong I am compared to the other guys at the top. But I'm hoping the chance for podiums is here in this. I've still not gotten one in a race that's scored. The only podium result I've ever had is that win in the last pre-season race. That's the only time I've been on the podium. I've been close once or twice, and it's never quite happened in a scored race.
Yeah, well, that's over races being, of course, much different, a lot more chaotic, where it's like decided in the last few laps. But I think anyone has a good chance there, and if you just keep your nose clean, which you have shown, you're able to do.
The oval was very fun. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. Hopefully, I can do it again without a double murder this time. But if this is anything to go off of for my season, I'm very excited.
Yeah, and rightfully so. You did a great job today, and a very deserved P5 position.
Yeah,
maybe P6 depending on
I like to shout out Binding as well, because he did a good race as well. We were talking through all of it strategically, like asking what each other's gaps were and stuff. So he had a strong race, a spin or two. Could have maybe caught up to the 2 people I was holding up behind me. I think it was Escher and I've forgotten who the other one was. Yeah, I had 2 cars chasing me down on the final stint, so...
I think it was Escher and Jonathan back, yeah.
Yeah. I had them chasing me for like the entirety of the last stint. I think I came out my final pit stop. I'd been trying to extend it into a 1-stop, and then I sort of realised that wasn't going to work, so I just put the hammer down, did my pit stop on like lap 45 or something, and then I think when Escher pitted as well, they came out the pits literally side by side with me. We were side by side out of turn 1, so it was very close. But Yeah, after that they just sort of chased me down for like the rest of the final stint, but I managed to hold the gap, so it wasn't a problem. But yeah, Binding was trying to chase them down. He was catching a little bit, but he had a spin. But it's a good result for him. He wasn't too hot in the Formula cars. He seems to be getting on with these ones quite a lot better. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, very good start for the season. But you can see in this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. Yeah, an amazing start and quite a recovery. And if you could give off a performance like this without the Spinala.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, yeah, I don't know what it is with me and just a little touch of the grass. It seems like a pattern where just something goes wrong on lap 1 and I have to spend the rest of the race trying to undo it.
Yeah, it's
I think maybe I could have been fighting Eddie if I hadn't done that. I don't think I would have gotten the top 3, but I reckon I could have fought Eddie and Jedlin.
So yeah, quite the performance, and yeah, if you can bring this, I don't know how you are on wet weather tracks.
Well, Silverstone last season in the Formula cars was wet, and I was flying on that despite that lap 1 accident. It was like my best race of the season. I think there was no safety car, and then I think I went from dead last by a minute after my lap 1 accident to like 8th or something. It was a good race.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I'm good in the wet in these as well. Because I do quite like the Indianapolis road course, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, I guess I guess we'll see until next week. But yeah, it's been lovely watching you recover, and yeah, hope to see you next week.
Yeah, I'm sure same time next week, eh?
Yeah, hopefully.
For sure. And actually, I'll be there on track, and maybe we can give each other a difficult time. Maybe we can make it a 2-lap fight.
Put it in the calendar.
Yeah.
That would be funny. But yeah, thank you for having me back yet again.
Always.
Try and make it equally eventful next week.
Yeah, always welcome with your drives. But yeah, until next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Then we do still have our last podium finisher. Do you know who that is?
It's Eisenshank, isn't it?
It is.
I know he's probably one of the last people to join the chat, but come on, he came in the podium. You got to give him some slack. So
yeah, we do tend to work from front of the podium to the rear, front of the field. Yeah, so I'm interested to hear how Eisenshank has experienced this race. Welcome.
Oh, that feels so good. Yeah.
Very nice podium. Maybe a little bit lucky due to what happens to Gillish and Tomba, but
it's a shame for Gillish because he's my teammate. But also for Tomba. I mean, but however, I think I could have finished up to P6 maybe without those dropouts in the front. So I did a good race. Surprisingly, actually, I don't like this track at all. I didn't know it. Nobody did. But I practiced a bit and others didn't, obviously. So I think it's I found a good setup for the car also. As I experienced in Watkins Glen in the preseason, there the option tires just didn't work at all. They were gone after minutes. And so I decided to go with the hard, and I practiced on the hard, on the primary tire, and found a setup for it. And then I was practicing with Käse, and he said, no, the options are the way to go. It's they're way quicker, and they do last for a two-stopper. So I don't know. I'm probably the only one who went for the hard tires. Did you ask the others about that?
Well, funny you say that. Kesa advising you on using the option tires, and I do remember him losing his rear wing just because his tires went and spinning around. So maybe it's a good thing you went for those prime tires in the end. and would have been a very comfortable drive and a decent result in the end. We did see people sliding a little bit. I think people like Wild Package were probably saving it a little bit at the end, but otherwise fine. Yeah, it might be something to talk about with other drivers, because I think there will be some variety and strategy. For case it didn't work out for you, the primes worked wonders.
Yeah, they were kind of consistent all over the stint, and I decided to change them all in every pit stop. I don't know, they were not really bad, but come on, it's not even. You don't lose any time if you change them, because pitting takes long as well, fueling up. So yeah, why not change the tires? So I did on every stint, and I had 2 moments. One of them I lost, I think, 20 seconds because I spun on the chicane, out of the chicane. But luckily I didn't touch the wall, so I could go on. And yeah, good race for me. And I didn't expect that to be competitive. Competitive. I mean, P1 has lapped me. P1 has lapped the P3. This is just sick performance of Wild Package. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
it was on another level today.
And I didn't like the ovals as well. I finished up P11 on the preseason oval race because I had 10 seconds penalty. Otherwise, it would have been a photo finish, I think. Yeah, but I'm feeling quite well in this car. Let's see what comes next. Rain.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, next race being Indy Road Course. Yeah, what's how are you feeling when it comes to, because some drivers saying they feel confident, some a bit worried. What's your opinion?
Oh, I like the track, and I think I've been driving it in other cars in the rain. I don't think it's too bad. It's gonna be fun, I think. Except for the spray, you don't see anything. But as long as you you know your brake markers in the rain, I think it's not that difficult track to drive in the rain.
Hopefully.
Well, there are puddles, aren't there?
Yeah, there are going to be some puddles, but not as big, because I believe it's just be some light to medium rain. So probably a bit of puddles towards the end, but not straight away.
Yeah.
Medium rain is pretty bad, to be fair. There might be a couple of puddles, and I wonder how the transition from the banking to the main track will be in all the cases that you do it. Might be a bit tricky for drivers, but we'll have to figure it out as we go, I guess.
I found out that less anti-roll bars work pretty well when it comes to transition of the banking.
Oh, so any drivers listening definitely need to take a bit of notes then.
Well, except it's just distracting them from the reality.
Yeah,
that's information.
Yeah, as much as you got overlapped by the leader, still a P3, and if you're as confident and as you say in the wet, hopefully we'll be seeing a similar result next week.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm gonna practice a bit.
Yeah, until then, yeah, see you next week.
Yeah, see you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, we have a couple of people still ready for interview. We've got Escher and Jetlin, but Jetlin's muted.
Let's bring in Escher then.
Hello, Escher, and
good evening.
Congratulations
hello.
on was a beautiful race, I think, for you. You had a couple of good fights, and how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I was feeling very good. Like always, I had a terrible start. I need like 10 rounds to wake up and get into the groove. I think I lost like 5 places in the beginning, but that's just me, I guess. Yeah, and after that it was very consistent. I had a very nice middle stint with the hard tires. And yeah, sadly I messed up my second pit stop, like the exit. I went too wide. I didn't really see where the apex was from turn 1, and I went too wide, and actually I should have been ahead of Kaku, but yeah, I messed that up. And there was a netcode issue. Bach drove into me, but on his end it looked different. So he punted me out, but it wasn't really. It was only for me, sadly.
On our screen,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely saw him lagging quite a bit on our screen, watching saw that first hand from the trackside cameras of you getting essentially yeeted off, almost hitting the wall, but luckily not doing well, surviving luckily and not being completely totaled.
Yeah, I just got a little bit of aero damage in the rear, but okay. It happened. I don't care. I just I didn't expect to be in the top 10. I think I would have been happy with P15 or something.
Well,
I
And
don't
next
like this
race,
track.
then.
but yeah, still yeah, a great driver. Next race is going to be Indy road course in the wet. How are you feeling for that sort of track and those conditions?
I don't feel anything right now because I barely have driven this track on any game, and I never driven this car on the wet, so I have to. There's a lot of practice.
Oh yeah,
in the
that's
couple of days.
definitely going to be interesting then. Yeah,
But
but
I'm not afraid. I think I like rain. It's a good opportunity if you do a little bit of practice. Be patient on the throttle. You can make up some time if other people are more scared. Maybe
yeah, well,
I just awake my inner Michael Schumacher and
fly
try to
around
be
the
a-
outside of
yeah,
most
try to be
drivers.
a rain god.
Yeah, though, like, yeah, a really good drive. Coming P10. I believe you qualified P. I think
13.
13. Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, doing getting 3 places up in total over the race, and definitely giving us some entertainment up in the stewards booth. We were watching you quite a bit over the course of all your battles. So,
Yeah, there were many, much more than in Watkins Glen. Luckily, Watkins Glen was quite boring until the very end. And yeah, I just hope to get into the P10s in the other races, like top 10s would be fine. But let's see. I just want to
yeah,
finish
grid,
the races.
yeah, the grid is definitely very close. I would say. I think the top 10 in qualifying were all within like a second of each other, maybe
Yeah.
closer. But yeah, no, really good drive and some amazing battles.
Thank you.
And yeah, hopefully, I hope you're not doing anything next week like one of the other drivers. But yeah, we hope to see you next week for the Indy road course then in the wet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, very good, and thank you so much for joining and giving us so much entertainment. I'm sure the people that are watching also loved watching your battles all the way through the race, and hopefully for the rest of the season it bodes well. And there's of course ovals still to deal with. Actually, I just want to ask, what is your experience on ovals, and how do you feel about that considering the rest of the season?
Yeah, like last week was my first race ever on oval. And at first I wasn't looking forward to it, but then while practicing I find it quite relaxing a bit. It's just you go around and you can let your mind let your mind wander a bit, and it's very fun to finesse the car like with a good force feedback, like minimum inputs, and it's quite cool. And you feel the tire scraping over the ground a bit, and it's quite fun. And yeah, last week was very chaotic because many people don't like that and they don't have much experience on ovals. But I'm looking forward to the next oval race.
Yeah, ovals are very exciting to drive. Not as exciting to watch, I think, but driving it is an experience. You can let your mind wander and just drivers around, in which case you really need to focus up. But yeah, that's a different challenge. I'm glad you like it. Of course, after the road course, we'll have the Indy 500 with extra points. So prediction for the season then? You really think you're going to finish in the top 10 overall?
That would be my goal. But my main goal is to give the stewards not much work. I don't want to be on any report sheets, like Escher did that. I just want to drive cleanly.
Yeah, that is definitely I think the second part of in a way the race that has got quite a bit of suspense to it. In a small way of did you cause an accident, and why do you now all of a sudden have a penalty? Yeah. As far as I think, I definitely didn't try and see any penalties, so I think altogether quite a clean race today.
Yeah, I didn't spun. I expected to spun at least once, like out of turn 1 maybe, but I drove a good race, like consistently, and yeah. And I wasn't feeling very well today. Didn't get a lot of sleep, but I got pumped up at the right moment.
Yeah, definitely found that as much you definitely found that that
Mojo.
That's it. Actually, yeah. Took the words from my tongue. You did. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, hopefully you'll be feeling a bit better next week, and maybe even have more of a mojo, and we'll be able to maybe even get further than a top 10.
Not too much pressure, please. Okay.
Yeah. Until unless Vindic wants to add anything.
I've bullied him about the ovals. I think we're happy to go on.
Yeah. Until then, I hope to see you in the interview room, hopefully for another good result. And yeah, we'll see you hopefully next week.
Yeah, see you next week. And thank you for your work, for the moderation here and stuff and everything.
As always, our pleasure. Always our pleasure.
Okay. Have a good night.
Have a good night yourself. And the only person still ready for interview, but they are muted, is Jetlin. How about we put him in and try to communicate with him?
Let's try communicate via sign language. I don't know how this is gonna work, but let's bring him in. Wait, if he doesn't react, then I guess see.
Jetlin, are you here with us? Can you give us a sign?
Jetlin.
I think he is not here with us. He's not present.
Oh! Do we have contact? The unmute button has been clicked.
We are awaiting Jetlin's first words. We currently cannot hear him.
This is like an interview of Kimmy because he like barely speaks and stuff. Jetlin, can you hear us?
Fortunately, don't think we have audio. Like, might be a hardware mute or whatever, or push to talk is still on. I don't know.
I don't think I hope push to talk isn't. Oh yeah, because that got added. I forgot about that rule. Push to talk.
I think so.
Yeah. I hope it isn't on this channel. I just realised it does say that Jedlin is on his phone, so maybe he is having some connection. We'll give it a couple more seconds before I will disconnect it just before we call it a. Oh.
Yeah, I think Jedlin made the call himself. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen today. Oh, he's back and ready for interview. Just give it another shot. We're here forever.
Jedlin.
So now is everything all right?
We can hear you. I'd have to turn you up a bit, but hello, Jedlin.
Hello. And for starters, sorry for that connection issues. I guess that was a bug of a mobile app of Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a didn't see too much from you tonight. How did your race go?
Yeah. It was kind of ups and downs because quali was mediocre at best. First stint was very poor. I crashed into the wall I think on lap 4 or 5, damaged front wing. I stayed out until I was sure that I can finish the race on 2 stops. But I had to alter my strategy, not soft, hard, but no soft, soft, hard, but soft, hard. And it take me some time to get used to characteristics of primary compound, but when I got used to it, it was pretty fun. I was making not many serious mistakes. Even if I did one, I was losing second one, maybe 3. However, there was one mistake that was later treated by the game as a bug because I lost 1 lap. I was only affected, but in a very different way than other drivers. Other drivers were getting drive-through penalties for nothing, if I'm not wrong. I had not counted 1 lap.
Yeah, I did see that. Lap 24, you did twice because it was so nice, apparently. And it does seem to be a bug that happens a couple of times. It's probably because Cleveland is such like an open field. The walls are like sometimes they literally don't exist.
Yeah, I think I didn't went through some checkpoint, and game decided to not count the lap.
Of course, checkpoint logic in any racing game is something. It's always there, and it's always bad somehow. It never works exactly, but yeah, unfortunately, I think some people lost a lap, and the stewards will have to look at it.
Yeah, but I think the stewards will straight it up. And results will really draw a picture of how of the real result of the race. However, of course, including those who finished the race, because I sadly have heard that a few drivers were struggling with pit stops.
Yeah, Tomahawks did even retire because he couldn't get his car refueled at the end.
Yeah, that was a real bummer because he was fighting for the victory. And even if he hadn't finished first, he would surely, I'm 100% certain about it, finish on his podium.
Of course, I do think there's ways like to increase your chances of the car being refueled, but of course that should never happen. It's very unfortunate that some racers lost their race or fight even for the lead due to that. So hopefully next time we won't have so many issues.
Yeah, that was also a shock for me because I remember Formula V10 season it was almost flawless. I don't remember such issues occurring.
I think refueling is something that may have been an issue. I know it's been an issue for a long time, but missing checkpoints I think is very Cleveland specific, and hopefully there's not tracks that are just as open as this one. And
it's only an exception. I think there is barely a circuit that is basically an airport with some tire barriers, because that's how we should describe Cleveland. I think there is one more track like this. I think the Rio de Janeiro airport circuit. I don't remember the name, but there is one more track like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think all these glitches though, definitely recently.
Galileo Airport.
That's it, yeah. But yeah, recently with all these glitches, I definitely think that Reza have been very much touching the code when they shouldn't be. I think with all these recent glitches, something's definitely being patched, and they've actually ended up making it worse, which is the worst thing you want to do.
Don't get me wrong, Reza did very many things well to improve that code left by Slightly Map Studios, but let's be clear, they still have a long road to pass if they want to make a team with similar level of polish as Assetto Corsa Competizione or iRacing.
Yeah, completely agree with you there. Yeah, next race, Indy Road Course, a wet weather race. Funnily enough,
Yeah.
what?
I'm quite pessimistic about it. I never was strong on wet weather.
Maybe gonna be taking a bit easier than today.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be pushing just as hard to try get those front positions.
Yeah, I'm curbing my enthusiasm. It's better to have lower expectations this time than have high expectations and wait for inevitable letdown. Because as I said, I was never strong at wet circuits, at wet conditions.
Yeah, well, hopefully you have a bit of luck next week, anyways. Yeah, until then though, we hope to see you. Unless Vindict has anything to add.
Yeah, before you let him go, it's not gone so easily. I was looking at the final standings, the final results. If your lap does get counted, you would end up ahead of Eddie actually in P4. That would be a very good result, I think. And
yeah, certainly it will be a very good result, but we have to remember and we have to take into the account that some other drivers also can have its result final time revised because of.
I think Daylau was also complaining about lap not being counted, so that you would, of course, end up behind him because you did end up behind him. Yeah.
I guess I have to wait for all stewards for stewards meeting to decide final results of the race, because
actually. Thinking about the track map again, I think you and Daylau both the same thing. Where you went wide, there was sector 3 starts. So you probably just missed the sector 3 gate. I think is the theory that's leading right now. Very unfortunate, but a P4 or P5 would be a very good result. And is that sort of your expectations for the rest of the season? Is my question.
I will be happy with the races ending up like this, with that result. However, I must be aware that such a high position was mainly due to the just bad luck of other high position drivers. Jill's connection went down, and Tomba House, we already discussed what happened with Tomba House.
Yeah, of course. A couple of drivers, Gillish and Tomahawks, being the biggest the biggest heartbreaks today. Gillish, of course, disconnected, and Tomba with the fueling issues. Still, it would be if you just imagine they are there, it would still be a P7. It would be, I think, an excellent result, and you could probably be very happy with that. There's going to be a long season ahead and a very interesting one for you then. So yeah, that's all I have to say really, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. And have a nice night.
You too. Yeah, that is the end of the interviews. Yeah, what a night of racing, honestly. As much as there wasn't as much drama as I was expecting, especially going into turn 1, I definitely thought there would be a safety car of some sort. Especially seeing 3 cars going side by side into turn 1, but no, quite an eventful race. We've seen battling all across the board. I don't think there was a single moment where there wasn't battling. So yeah, quite an amazing race. Yeah, but
yeah, definitely. It came in like on a whim, you know, because Martin unfortunately couldn't make it. But yeah, he didn't give me the easiest one. There was a lot to look at, a lot of battles up and down the track, and I think we saw a lot of good driving from everyone. A couple of unfortunate glitches and bugs showing up here and there, unfortunately affecting the result for Tomba, Gillish. Daylau lost a lap, and Well, Daylau and Jedlin can get their laps back if that's something that the stewards decide to do. But yeah, hopefully next time around we won't have any of those race ruining bugs. And yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, next race is going to be Indy road course in the wet. Hopefully we'll have just some close racing, but definitely some more intense racing. Maybe some drivers not going to be pushing it 100% this time. We're definitely going to be seeing some close racing. But yeah, until then, it's been great commentating this, and thank you so much, Vindict, for joining me and very much having me, especially last minute as well. Yeah, and until then, guys, this is me saying goodbye and have a good night.
Thank you very much for watching if you have been.